Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm back with another K-drama to see, have you already seen it? And if not, is this something that you would check out? So before we get into this video, you already know the drill. Like this video, follow me for more, and share this with someone that you know that would be into K-dramas and will potentially check it out, okay? So the name of today's K-drama is called Korean Odyssey. The show starts out, they essentially show this child, I would say she's about like maybe 7 years old, and she's in class, and she walks in, she sits down. A woman who is supposed to be a teacher, or a woman that's a teacher, walks up to where the teacher normally stands, and I would say like a podium kind of thing, and essentially says, "Good morning, class. Everyone rise to greet the teacher." She is the only student that stood up. So she looks around amongst everybody else, and that's when it hits her. This is not a person. This is a ghost. And the figure sees her and says, "Oh, you can see me." And her face changes to one that's more scary. Now this figure essentially starts haunting her because it's a child and she can obviously see and talk to ghosts. So her classmates, it shows, are picking on her for the fact that, one, she stood up. They have no idea what she stood up for, but they started making fun of her, kind of calling her weird, freak, etc. This ghost essentially sticks around until the end of the school day and is following her, I would say harassing her, and then she stumbles across a man with an umbrella, but it's really like a staff, and it has like a weird like head or knob or handle on it, and this man uses the umbrella and pretty much wards off this evil ghost spirit. And so the little girl goes, and she believes that this umbrella holds like the ability to get rid of these ghosts from pursuing after her. She asks the man to help her, and I'm not gonna lie, he looked like a Korean Willy Wonka wannabe. This man says to the girl, I mean, I can help you, but you gotta go down this really dark, spooky trail to this house that I and no other being is technically allowed to be in, and I need you to steal something from that house, but don't make eye contact with the figure that's in there, because if the figure knows that you can see it, it will eat you, right? So the little girl says, and if I do that, you'll give me your umbrella? And he said, sure, deal. The little girl has no idea that the umbrella doesn't hold any power. The umbrella is not what warded off the evil spirit. So she ventures down through this tunnel. She gets to the house. She's getting ready to steal the item that she was requested. And this man walks up to her and says, hey, what are you doing in here? And she hears it, but she remembers what the man told her, where she was essentially not to react and to act like the person wasn't there. So that's what she's doing. And then the person says, oh, you can hear me. And then she keeps acting like she can't hear him. He goes, huh, maybe you can't hear me. So then he essentially tricks her. And when she reacts, he goes, I knew it. I knew you could hear me. So he says to her, what are you doing in this house? And she says, I've come to collect something because the man told me he was going to give me his umbrella to protect me from evil spirits. So now this guy says, hey, I'll do you one even better. How about if you call my name, I will protect you from all the ghosts, kind of thing, right? And the little girl says, you'll really protect me? He said, I'm a man of my word. Of course I'll protect you. So now I don't remember exactly what he requested of the girl to help set him free from this house that he's been confined to for almost 1,000 years, I believe. And she does this under the promise that he said he'll come and protect her. So when this happens, after all of this is done, he's getting ready to dip out, right? He's like, you did what you had to do for me. I'm leaving. And she was like, hold on now. You told me if I set you free that you were going to protect me. He said, you're right. I told you that I was going to protect you if you called my name out. So back in that house or wherever they were, he did tell the girl what his name was. So now that they're outside and the house has kind of evaporated into thin air, he says to the girl, I'll help you, still, I'm a person of my word. I will help you if you call my name. I will come to you and protect you. So then he said, he does a spell, I would say, and he essentially takes the memory of his name out. So now she doesn't even have the ability to call on him, even if she wanted to. This man literally swindled a child. So with that being said, he flies off essentially cackling because he feels like you thought you were gonna really have me be your bodyguard, be so for a little girl. I'm not about to help you. I guess we're going forward to the future, to present times. This little girl is now a grown woman. I think she's in her 30s, and she essentially runs a real estate business. Now, the properties that she goes to are ones that are technically haunted, and she is casting out the ghosts or the evil spirits in order to buy this property for cheap and sell or rent it out herself. And it seems that she's doing pretty well for herself. Now, her assistant essentially does not know that she can see ghosts. He just thinks she's crazy. So she does everything. She wards off this evil spirit. One day, she's out somewhere as her assistant is driving her from the house that they just went to go see, and she sees that man in the fur coat that left her in the dust after lying to her that he was going to protect her. And so she gets out of the car and he looks at her and he essentially does and mocks her. So that lets us know that he definitely remembers the girl and he remembers her promise, even though she's grown older. The woman gets out of the car in traffic and starts pursuing this man because she remembers his face, but again, she never remembered his name. So when she sees him, she follows this little ghost boy that takes her to him. And when she gets there, he says, I thought I'd never see you again. How has life been? You still need me to fight off ghosts? And she says, no, I don't need you because I've been protecting myself. He said, oh, are you sure you don't need me? Because remember I told you all you had to do was call my name. And he goes, is it that you can't call my name because you don't remember my name? And her pretty much not wanting to let him kind of one up her, she says, no, I didn't call your name because I learned to take care of myself. Boom. So now the man grows curious. He's just like, wait a minute, you remember my name? And she says, yeah, of course I do. I just chose not to call you. So then he essentially puts her in a predicament, starts laughing and says, as I thought, you don't remember my name. And then he said, well, I see that you've grown up nicely. And then he, once again, leaves. And the woman who's in the passenger seat can see this dark figure climbing on top of this man's car and is essentially trying to possess this man and cause him to crash his car. Now, she has her assistant drive up, speed up close next to the guy, and she starts honking the horn, starts cursing at him, swearing at him, telling him that she's gonna kick his ass. She starts going sick on him. And then when the man wakes up, because now he's angry, he's like, who the fuck you talking to kind of thing, right? He looks over, now he's hyped. He's hyped and he's mad. He's like, who are you talking to? He's essentially driving after her. So she tells her assistant, speed up and get away away from this man. He's crazy. After doing all that, she goes, he's crazy. So she drives away. The man follows after her. And where she is, he pulls over. He gets out of the car, and he starts coming closer to them. Now, she kind of doesn't want to get out of the car because obviously the woman can't fight this grown thug. He, you know, like he acted like he ain't got no sense. Unbeknownst to the girl, the guy who took the memory of his name from her, he shows up and he essentially like scares off this man, from doing anything. He kind of says to the woman, just stay out of my way. And then the girl goes, she just kind of like looks at him like, okay, like, and then gets in the car. And her assistant is like, oh my gosh, you know him? She's just like, no, drive off. And we learn that he is a great sage. So he's not a ghost. He's not an evil spirit. He's a great sage. His name is Son Ogon, right? And he is actually living with the devil, okay? And I believe the devil's name is Hwayugi. And we come to find out that the devil is actually the man that told the little girl, if you go into that house and you get the item that I need, I'll give you my umbrella, okay? And we find out that the two of them actually hate each other. Son Ogon goes to a house because he heard that there's like, I would say like one of those ventriloquist dummies at the house, and it's possessed a little boy. And now it's hurting the little boy and it's hurting the parents, and nobody can get close to the little boy. The great sage, Son Ogon, he goes inside the house and he essentially defeats the ventriloquist dummy. Now, before he's able to cast the dummy away, the dummy says, wait, don't get rid of me. I know something that's really crucial and important to you. The doll tells Son Ogon, hey, Samjang is a real thing. I saw it with my own eyes. I marked her, so you'll be able to find her. And if you're able to eat Samjang, you'll be able to win over the devil and be the most powerful, right? So now the guy still casts away the dummy because he came to do his job, okay? So he casts away the dummy. And as he's walking by, it hits him. He's just like, wait a minute. I think after like talking to someone and they say, okay, so you got rid of the dummy. Did you also get rid of the wife? He says, the wife? Nobody told me I had to get rid of the wife. So he goes to like one of these secondhand stores and he's looking for the dummy, the wife. And the wife obviously possessed a woman that was walking by. And so now the wife is after the Samjang. Okay, and when he gets closer, he realizes that it's the girl that he saved he duped all those years ago, that she's the Samjang. And later on, he kind of finds out that she was punished for releasing him to become the Samjang. So now Buddy over here tries to get her to nullify the contract that he had made with her when she was a child, because since he made this contract, he's unable to eat her. And she realizes, why do you now want to nullify this contract? And you're letting me know that you will tell me your name and you're supposedly going to honor the contract, but you want to void out the original. That makes no sense. So she obviously grows weary of him. And he says, okay, you got me. I was trying to cancel out the contract that says I have to protect you so I can null it out and eat you. Now, the woman, she remembers what the devil looked like. And one day she did see him on like one of those TV shows. And it's like one similar to American Idol. And she goes herself to kind of like convince him to help her. She auditions. She does a really bad job. I won't even lie to y'all. It was not the best. And I think that was the point. And he essentially says to her, even if I wanted to help you learn his name, because he did the spell that he did, and he says the guy's name multiple times, it still wouldn't change the fact that he took the memory. So you'll never be able to hear his name unless he wants you to hear his name. And so he takes her to a different pawn shop now. And in that pawn shop, there's like, I would say a bracelet. And he tells her what you have to do if you want to take control of him and make him do what, protect you like he promised. Put the bracelet on him and that will give you full control. Something ends up happening where there's a painting that's possessed. And the painting essentially is stealing young brides. The original customer that had signed the contract for the house canceled it before the contract deadline, I guess. And so the woman was just like, I'm not understanding why they would cancel the contract. So she goes into the apartment with her assistant to try to take a look. And when she goes in, the painting pulls her in. So now the assistant is like, oh my gosh, how could she go missing in the middle of this? So now he takes the artwork with him back to her office. And Son Ogon shows up to her office trying to find her. And Son Ogon essentially says, where is she? He goes, I don't know. She was like, she was here. We were looking at the house. And now all I have is this painting. He puts the painting down. Now Son Ogon, paying attention, notices that the eyes of the bride of the painting it's red and it's kind of like looking and moving around. So he realizes, oh, it's a possessed painting. So he takes the painting and like leaves. And the assistant is like, oh my God, where are you going? Kind of thing. Like, Benny cannot get a break. He's probably not getting paid enough to deal with all this kind of abuse. Okay. So now Son Ogon has to go find this guy who he used to be Jeremy in You're Beautiful. I don't remember what his name is in this show. And he's the pig, that's his character. And he says, okay, I need your help. How do I get into this painting and how do I get back out? And he said, well, the only way to get in is you have to find the entrance of the portal. And he looks at the picture and he says, okay, this should be where the entrance is. Go in. Now, the pig was intending to burn it down so that Buddy could never come back out and never try to harm him again. And what ends up happening is the man took the bracelet that the girl had tried to give him into the painting. And the only way for them to get out, because now this possessed character in there is pursuing after them, is for him to put the bracelet on so that he can send her out of the painting to protect her like he promised. And then once she's out there, summon him. So in order to do that, he has to, 1, give her the memory of what his name was, and 2, toss her out of the painting. So he does that and he summons her. Now what he doesn't know, or really what she doesn't know, is this object essentially is clenching at his heart. And the two of them, I don't know if they're trying to prevent like a mayhem that's supposed to happen. So you really just kind of have to watch the show and find out, do they fall in love with each other? Is he able to save the world? Is he able to protect her from being eaten by all these evil ghosts that are trying to get her? Okay. This is one of those K dramas that I really have to say was really hilarious. I actually watched it beginning of last year before it was removed from Netflix. So definitely check it out. Come back and let me know if this is something that you've already seen, how you felt about it, and if it's something that you're going to check out. Sorry. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Okay, thanks. Bye.